So this is kind of crazy. Okay. Kevin in chat gave us a very generous super chat and asked about the PS5, how it didn't have the inventory or games of the PS4 generation, which is absolutely true. How it looks like a lot of these companies are saying prep for next generation, stuff like that, with The Witcher 4 and other big studios. And it really feels like a lot of the games that we've been expecting have just been on the back burner or have taken way longer to make. And there's actually a wee bit, it's not even really breaking news, but it's something that dropped at 6 p.m. last night that I found really interesting. Okay, really interesting. It's a job posting from a big studio that hasn't released anything in 4 years. A big studio who prior to that had about 4-year dev cycles, sometimes even less. And this job posting suggests that they are still a long ways off from whatever their next project is. Look at this. Naughty Dog jobs. Hot job. I wish I could get a hot job. Senior producer. Naughty Dog is looking for a senior producer to join our talented team to work on our next game. Important. Next game. Not one of our future games. Not an upcoming game, their next game. Want to get in early and help define the process, requirements, and structure to ship our next game and beyond? Apply. They're phrasing it as getting in early. Now, this could be just total speculation. This could be reading way too much into this, but the way that they are describing it is that it is early in the dev cycle. Look at that development kit right there. I think that's the PS4 dev kit. Look at that chonkster. That's funny. Anyway, they describe it as getting in early to help build out the teams, get the organizational stuff figured out so that they can produce stuff more efficiently, production methodologies, as well as tracking software. They also, look at this. Estimated USA pay range in all regions for this role is listed below. 133,000 to 240, my camera's covering it, 241,000. You want to know why games are expensive? This is part of it. Okay. You're right. That is a hot job. I'll tell you what. That is a hot job. So I think they wasted a lot of time on the Last of Us Online project. I think that a lot more people were working on that than was previously kind of talked about it. I think it's pretty clear that they had pretty much all hands on deck working on the online project through 2020, like early 2024. And now it's just, they're basically starting from the very earliest of stages on this next project, which to me, early for Naughty Dog is like year 1, maybe year 2, which means it's still a couple of years away at least, which probably pushes it into the 2026 to 2027 range. And in that case, I think that it's very likely to either be one of the last games for the PS5 or an early PlayStation 6 title, which it's wild to think that we've seen this happen now with multiple studios, but we get like a Last of Us TV show that pops off, makes the franchise more popular than ever, and all they have to show for it is a remake / remaster, right? And then we also have the Fallout show come out. It pops off, makes the franchise more popular than ever before, and they don't have anything to show for it at all except for a next-gen update for Fallout 4 that breaks everything and some new stuff for Fallout 76 if you happen to be interested in that. And that's it. Like, it really seems like there has just been just cascading side effects, probably of COVID, but I think also of a lot of live service pushes at a lot of these big studios, both BGS pushing live service with Fallout 76 and other projects where they think that that is a sufficient replacement for servicing their core fan base. And then also with Naughty Dog being forced to work on this online game for basically 4 or 5 years before they abandon it, you know? And that's the most shameful thing about it, is that I'm sure they developed some cool tools, some cool techniques. They trained a lot of people. They got out a remake and a remaster with you know, Naughty Dog's entry-level staff, but they basically haven't done anything since 2020. That's wild. One of the top studios in the world. And it will probably be close to a decade by the time we actually see what's next for them. It's ridiculous. Again, I blame Jim Ryan. I blame a lot of these executives because it's just led to the PlayStation 5 and Series X and S generation to be way, way less interesting than it could have been. Just really underwhelming. Other positions that they're hiring for are things like game designers, specifically level designers. And if you open this up, this is more of like a standard role. So if we open this up, game designer level contingent, if we pull this up, 3 years experience, one shipped game at any company, and then their pay range is an hourly rate instead of salaried, which, you know, not bad money per se. You're not making minimum wage. I don't know what determines that you make 92 over 51. Probably experience, probably stuff like that, but proactive attitude, coordinate playtesting, reviews, and iteration, ensuring levels meet technical specs. Produce and maintain documentation that establishes the core concepts of your levels. Documentation? What is this? Create scenarios, place game objects, and implement level progression using game editor tools. Develop level composition. $51. I'm willing to lie on my resume. I mean, you got to bear in mind that this also is a job in Santa Monica. Santa Monica is not cheap to live in. So I think that's a big part of it too. They kind of have to pay you more because it's pricey. But all of this to say, I mean, it says they're talking about getting in early at Naughty Dog for the next project, and that to me would just suggest that it's still years and years and years away. Some people were hoping that maybe they'd have something to show next year, and maybe they do. Maybe they show a trailer or something for it. But as for release, if they're still referring to it as early, their next game is early in production, that's at least 3, probably more like 4 or 5 years away. Because bear in mind, Naughty Dog also got rid of all of the crunch. Naughty Dog was doing 4-year dev cycles back when they were crunching real bad, but now they've eliminated that, and dev cycles are longer than they ever have been before, which all would suggest that this is going to be a long dev cycle. I just hope they let The Last of Us die once and for all and focus on other things. I hope their next project is a new IP. I agree, but I think they are going to go back to The Last of Us before, probably after that, honestly. So no Last of Us 3. I mean, I think in probably a decade. I just don't think that's their next thing. I think they do something fresh. He took my thing.